Hi, everybody who is about to have fibroid removal surgery or who have already had fibroid removal surgery, or hello to those people who just like to watch post-surgery videos and see scars. I don't know. So this video is going to be broken down into 5 sections. First section, I will do a recap of the surgery I had. Second section, I will talk about the scar and the progress. It will be including photos as well. Third, I will be talking about how my body changed in that first year post-surgery. Fourth section, I will talk about the HSG test that I had about 7 months post-surgery. And then last, I will talk about my own personal fertility journey in the year following my open-myomectomy surgery. So to recap, I had my open-myomectomy surgery May 10th, 2019. In that surgery, they removed 2 fibroids, a 6-7 centimeter one and a smaller one that was about 3 centimeters. And they also removed a portion of my tube because it was blocked. The surgeon said that she was going to get in there, try to see if they could unblock it, and if she couldn't, she was just going to remove it and send it off for testing. It came back fine. There wasn't any signs of anything bad. I created 5 videos of that whole process. I documented the first day of surgery. I talked about how I felt. I had basically a video diary broken down, like I said, through 5 videos that spanned over the first 2 weeks of that surgery. So I'm going to post a link here. You'll see it pop up. Click on that to watch that series. This will be the last video of the open-myomectomy series. So for anyone who doesn't know my story, I'll just give a super brief rundown and a brief intro as to who I am. So my name is Leanne. I am a 36-year-old woman. I live in Nova Scotia, Canada, and I am just over 6 years sober. Around 6 years ago, I had a laparoscopy. That's because I was having super painful periods and super irregular, all over the place. I knew there was something wrong. When there's something wrong with your cycle, that's usually a direct reflection of your overall health. So I had that laparoscopy. They removed a fibroid and they cleaned up some endometriosis that I had. I don't know what it means by cleaned up, but anyway, that's what they did. And then fast forward a few years, started to try to conceive. I ended up having 3 losses in the first 2 years, around something like that, and was seeing an reproductive endocrinologist basically the whole time, and did a whole bunch of tests, different things. I have other videos on this as well, and ended up having an open-myomectomy because they found that I did end up growing some more fibroids. So had that done just over a year ago now, and that's pretty much it. Overall, I'm healthy. I have a good job. My stress levels are relatively low, even though over the past 3 years I've had a lot of really crazy, horrible things that happened in my personal life, with some deaths, unexpected, and cancer and murder and overdose, just a lot of really bad stuff that's been completely out of my control, that's happened over the past like 3 years, that I'm sure has a lot to do with or that has contributed to still no baby, and it's been this long. But anyway, that's generally me. I pretty much do videos on almost anything, and you'll see it here all on this channel. So for scar progress, I took some video in the 2-week follow-up post-op video I made, I'm pretty sure, and then I also have another video on when I was removing the steri strips. For the first few months after surgery, I massaged the scar. I did some Googling, and I read that you should do that to try to free up adhesions, or to make it so that any adhesions inside don't get worse. So I just did some massaging just with like the palms of my fingers before I went to sleep every night, basically. And I think it may have helped, like for the adhesions on the inside, because before it barely moved when I moved the scar, but now it's a lot freer when I go to massage it, and that's a really good thing. For geez, I don't remember, but I would say maybe 1 or 2 months, no, around 2 months post-surgery, it would be tight whenever I would, stretch. Of course it was tight because it was still like a big scar there. But it got better as the months progressed, where I could do like a full stretch, and where it didn't feel tight anymore. And now it's been over a year. 3 months ago, it was 1 year. But it's funny, I haven't really noticed it in terms of like the pulling or tightness, anything like that. The only times I'll really notice that the scar is there would be mostly with pain. And that's only when I'm leaning against a counter washing my hands and the counter just happens to be at the exact same height as my scar. And at work, there's some tables at work where when I'm working on my feet, and the table, it's like sort of a metal edge, and it's a hard metal edge, like not rounded, like it's abrupt, and so that is at the perfect height to like rest directly on my scar. But really, those are the only times I'll ever notice pain from it. When I press on it now, totally fine. It doesn't hurt at all. And it's funny, like a few weeks ago was the only time I've noticed this since when I got the surgery, like a month or two after I got the surgery. And it's been, like I said, over a year. But I was doing a stretch that I normally would do, but my leg was back, and I was holding onto the wall or something like that. So it was like doing a full stretch like that, where my body was more in a C, so my belly was sticking all the way out like that. And so I stretched, and then I felt like a boom, like inside. So I think a bit of scar tissue just broke free, basically at that moment. That's what that feeling was. It didn't hurt. It just felt like scar tissue just broke apart, or like got unstuck from something. That's what it felt like. And I was like, whoa, what's that? I was like, I think a bit of scar tissue just pulled. It was weird. Anyway, that was it. That was really the only time I've really noticed it. And as for my body, my overall health since the surgery, in relation to the surgery, I would say better. Before I had the surgery, like I said, my periods were pretty normal. I mean, it was normal for me. I would say, about 25, 26, 27 day cycles, between 25 and 27. Sometimes I'll get 28. Still a short luteal phase. Before my surgery, I would have around 10, 11 days. 12 if I was on vitamin B6 and seed cycling. And I would have cramps like every month. Yeah, on day 1, sometimes day 2. And it would be occasionally I would have to take like a Tylenol. Now post-surgery, I have a mild cramp on cycle day 1, maybe once every 3 months. And I usually don't have to take anything for the pain. And my cycles are still basically the same, between 26, 27 days. Luteal phase is still around 11 days, 12 days sometimes though. So it has gotten better. The only other thing with my body, but I don't think it's in relation to the surgery at all, is weight gain. About 2 weeks ago, I was 180 pounds. I'm now 176.6. And I'm used to being 155. So, but I think my weight gain has a lot to do with the depression surrounding fertility struggles. I don't think it has anything to do with the surgery itself, but I thought I would add it in there because, I mean, it is still sort of related to the fertility, and I had the surgery because of fertility issues, so I thought I'd throw it in there anyway. So next, my HSG test. I had that in December, and that was basically the follow-up. My reproductive endocrinologist, the same woman who did the surgery, she's amazing. she said if I still don't get pregnant within X amount of time, come back and we'll do a second HSG test. That's the dye test. So I actually made a video on that as soon as I left the hospital. I made a quick video, so here it is. So I just had my HSG appointment, and yeah, registered, sit in the waiting room. Everything's fine. I don't get worried about these things. Like, I've had so many procedures done, so it's totally fine. But as I'm waiting in the waiting room, like, I started to get, well, no, I didn't get nervous, but like, I kept thinking about how I would react if they told me my one and only tube is blocked. So then I started to like feel like I was gonna cry, but I didn't want to cry, so I was trying really hard not to. Anyway, and then I was fine. I was like, okay, I'm good, I'm not gonna cry. And then I was fine, and they called me back, and same procedures that what I had in March, and where I could see it up on the screen, and like, so I saw them put the dye in, and it was like, you know, I could see then the black, and then I could see it start to come out. Only one side. They said it looked like a unicorn. Cause yeah, the other side, like, I don't have a tube there, and it's like blocked. So it went up, and then I could see a bit of spillage. Like, it looks like watercolor, like in water, where it just sort of dissipates like that. So I saw that, and I was like, that looks good to me. And then they confirmed that yes, that tube is open. And I cried a little bit, like this, just for a second, because I was so scared. But it's okay. That it's open. I'm really happy about that. I had my surgery 9 months ago. So why is it taking so long? Anyway, so, but they did say that it looked like my uterus was sort of in weird shape. He didn't know if that was due to the fibroid removal surgery I had, because my fibroids were pushing into my uterus and making it a weird shape. So he said it still sort of was, even though I don't have fibroids there anymore. So doesn't really know why that's happening. So I'm gonna book a follow-up appointment with my fertility doctor, so she can probably run another test to try to figure that part out. But it could impede implantation or babies, maybe not. Either way, my tube is open, so that's good. Eggs can go down that tube and be fertilized and then implant. So we're good. And then with stress levels, so the past year, it's been absolutely insane. So many things, so much has happened, with dealing with the loss of my mother-in-law, who passed, just in January. And we actually got married in October. I got married in October. We wanted her to be there for the wedding, so we ended up getting married a year earlier than expected. But it was amazing. It was perfect. It was tiny. And I'll probably go into a little bit more detail about that in another video. But yeah, so wedding, dealing with the passing of her, and I launched a blog, Sober City. I'm going to do a video more in depth on that too, later. But launching a website and launching something like that takes a lot of work. And so that's what I did this past January. January 1st, 2020 is when it launched. So I've been doing a lot. And so grief is horrible. Dealing with that really takes a lot out of you. And then COVID-19 hit, working from home a lot. So, but that sort of made my stress levels decrease a lot, because a lot of the pressures and craziness of work got easier. So now I don't think I'm depressed anymore. It's funny how you don't really know sometimes. But anyway, I don't think I am. I don't think so. I feel optimistic. I'm good. I have energy. I'm good. But for a while there, like, I certainly was depressed. But now I've been going to the gym for the past 3 weeks, because I'm like, okay, I can't do this 180 pounds anymore. like I keep getting higher and higher in the scale, and that's not good for my, I don't think it's good for my fertility, because it affects me mentally in a lot of ways that I don't like. That's causing a lot of stress for me. So for myself personally, I want to get back to what I'm used to, which is 155, 160. So that's what I'm working on. And from going to the gym, I feel a lot better, a lot better in a lot of ways. So it's really helping. So, which brings me into my next point of mindset, how that has changed. So, good Lord, in terms of fertility, I've listened to so many podcasts and read a lot about mindset, because I feel like that was the last part of what I needed to really get a good hold of, because I did all the physical things, I did all the procedures and supplements, and I did all that kind of stuff, but it still wasn't happening. So I'm like, got to be mindset. So I've been pretty deep into mindset stuff over the past year, little more than a year, and there's contradictions, and I don't know. I change every month. I change every couple weeks in my mindset surrounding it, but that's just how fertility struggles go. I don't want to say the word infertility, because it sounds too, I don't want to put those vibes out there, but fertility struggles, that's how it goes. It's a constant roller coaster. And it's funny because they, like mindset coaches and manifestation, sorry, I have a hair, it's tickling me. They say, act like you already have what you want. Put those vibes out there, act like you already have it. But then like fertility people say, pregnancy will happen as soon as you stop obsessing and stop trying, is when it will happen. So, okay, so I act like I'm already pregnant. I eat foods as if I was pregnant. I don't. I'm saying this is what I'm supposed to do. So like I act as if that's already a thing. But at the same time, I'm supposed to also forget about trying, forget about obsessing with tracking my cycles and doing all that kind of stuff. Sort of like give up, but not really give up. You're supposed to do that, because as soon as you give up and stop trying, then it will happen. So I'm like, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? It's so frustrating. It's ridiculous. So I go back and forth with it. But really, over the past couple months, I haven't tracked. I've been following fertility awareness method for like 7 years, 8 years. I know my body very, very, very well. I know exactly when I'm going to ovulate. I know the signs of ovulation for me. I know when I get a positive OPK, when I'm going to ovulate after that. It's only a short window. I know exactly how long my luteal phase is. I know exactly how my period's going to act. I know when to have sex. I know all the things. It's just it's ingrained into my brain. I don't need to track it to know it. So in that case, I'm not obsessing. So like, does the universe know that, hey, I'm not obsessing over it anymore because I'm not tracking? So does that count as giving up? Or what do I do? Do I like it? Because before I would only dye my hair in my follicular phase, because I didn't want to do it in the luteal phase, just in case anything was implanting. So like now, do I just dye my hair whenever I want and not think about it? Or do I act as if I am pregnant and not dye my hair anymore? You know what I mean? It's there's so much. Every day there's something else that you need to think about and think, oh, should I do it in this way or this way? And I'm like, but over the past couple months, I've just been like, whatever. How about I just do whatever the frig I want? And I just live my life. I just live my life and not think about all this. So for the most part, that's what I've been doing. Supplements, I still just do supplements just because that's what I do, because it makes me feel good or it helps with my cycle or whatever. But I was on CoQ10 for a while. I'm on different probiotics now just for gut health, since I do have IBS and I still need to stay on track of that. And I just eat healthier in general lately, just because I want to, lose fat and get back to my normal weight. So I've just been doing overall things that are good for my body that aren't necessarily fertility related. So I don't know. I can't predict the future. All I can do is just, and they say you shouldn't hope, because hope implies that you hope something happens. You need to know that it's going to happen. So like, you have to be careful with your wording. So yes, I will be pregnant someday. I will have a baby someday. I don't know when. And then they say, well, it's up to God, or it's up to the universe, or it's up to the divine planning, divine timing as to when it comes into fruition. So I don't know who decides it, but it'll happen. It'll happen. So that's it. If you have any questions, that you want to ask me, you can ask in the comments, or you can private message me on, mostly on Instagram. That's the best way to get a hold of me. That's where a lot of you have gotten a hold of me or followed me, would be on Instagram. So the link to that is down in the description. And that's it. Have an awesome day, everyone.